ignorant.
How racist are you, bro? I don't fucking know. If you ask Black Twitter, I'm a 10. If you ask Black Twitter, or the Barbs rather, I'm probably the most racist person in America. Like in the continent of the United States, there's literally not a more racist person than me. Like I'm basically the fucking the creator of the Ku Klux Klan. If you ask me, I don't know. If you ask LSF, I'm the most racist person because of my anti-white racism, more racist than Adolf Hitler. So not okay to joke about. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why? Why is it? No, why can't I do that? Why? Why am I not allowed to joke about that? Why? Anyway, I don't know. I don't know what the qualifiers would be. You need to hoop with more black people to be less racist, to be honest. First of all, I do hoop with plenty of black people. I just, not on camera. Oh man, you're so racist. Hitler accepted Jefferson's statements. I think, I don't know. I don't know what level of racist I would be. I definitely have blind spots. If I'm being like super honest, I definitely have blind spots. I get too comfortable. But I think like that comes from thinking that my statements would not be misconstrued. Who am I racist towards? Like I didn't grow up in America, so it's like hard to make that assessment because I grew up in a country that's like where there are literally no black people, you know what I mean? Like functionally. There are tourists, there are athletes, and there's an incredibly small minuscule tiny enclave of Afro Turks. So like I didn't grow up with like all of the social conditioning of like anti-blackness that comes from countries that heavily participated in chattel slavery. Because that kind of white supremacist attitude, colorism and whatnot is like deeply embedded to the core of like living in these nations. How about anti-Kurdishness? Like I don't see that's another good that would be way more correct. Anti-Armenian, anti-Kurdish, anti-Greek potentially. But even then, those are like the more prominent forms of bigotry due to ethnic identities. But overall, I don't have any I don't have any anger or any hatred towards them either. Like I never really gave a shit. I was a weird kid. You know what I mean? Living in a homogenous country 100% contributes to anti-blackness. Ask black people in Japan. I think that you're not wrong, but like in a place like Turkey, it's more like naivete and curiosity rather than like straight up being afraid of black people or some shit. You know what I mean? It's not coming from a place of malice, which is hard to describe to people. I'm sure Japan has plenty of that as well, by the way. And for the record, yeah, Turkey is not homogenous at all. It was literally the empire. It was an empire. It is not in any way homogenous at all. That's why you got motherfuckers that look like me. You got some dark ass motherfuckers that are like Kurdish and Arab mixed. Okay. I mean, I even have that in me as well. I have Greek and also the other side as well. So, like, there's no, like, it's such a fucking American perspective to be like, yeah, it's so homogenous. Yeah, it totally. Um, how is colorism in Turkey when it comes to darker skinned Turkish people? It's not like that. It's more so your proximity to potentially being Kurdish or Arab that like will draw ire. It's not like it's weirdly I don't know how the fuck Turkish people don't have. I mean, I guess like they do feature. They do consider like Slavic, blonde hair, blue eyed to be like more exotic. So I guess there's a little bit of that on the colorism side. You know what I mean? But it's so, it's just like, it's not like colorism. Like no one will be like, yo, you're, again, colorism is like either a byproduct of colonial exploitation and like Western influence due to justification that comes along with chattel slavery, or it's due to classist perspectives like in Asia that predate that sort of thing. For example, rice farmers being considered lesser than, and because you're out in the fucking sun all day in the field, that level of colorism came from a class distinction. The more fair your skin was, the more higher up you were in the aristocracy, because you just never had to be out in the fucking fields and never get sun damage. So there's that kind, but I don't think Turkey has that either. So I don't know. I hope you know all your viewers are 40 years old and up. To make fun of this fluoride, Aiden better ratio, Aiden put you on. What the fuck? İlkokul resimlerine bakıyorum. Asyalı kızlar falan varmış sınıfımda. Küçükken herkes aynı geliyordu bize. Yeah, it's actually, this guy's actually so correct. So there was a dude that I went to school with. His name was literally Kırım Geray Kırımlı, which means like Crimea Geray from Crimea. That was his name. It was his first name and last name. Doxed. And this dude was like ethnic Crimean. So he was like he looked Asian. He looked East Asian, not Asian like in the Turkic or Turkish sense, but like straight up. And I mean, he's Tatar, right? So I never even thought about it as like a different race or anything. You know what I mean? Even though he looked very different. So it's weird in Turkey, it's just like different. I don't know how else to describe it. But aren't Turks racist against Kurds, or is that just propaganda? Yes, there is definitely anti-Kurdish sentiment, resentment. If you say I'm Turk, even if you ethnically aren't, you don't face racism in Turkey, probably because Atatürk saying ne mutlu Türk'üm diyene. Yeah, I mean, even Erdogan tried to talk about that with like alt kimlik, üst kimlik. Like there was a point of contention in the Erdogan regime where he said, are you gonna ban me? Fuck, look at this little one. He's just like so desperately trying to get attention. Don't ban him, by the way. Cute, man. That's national, not racial, though. Yeah. Yeah, as a black person, there are three classes: one light skin, two brown, three dark skin. Light skinned people tend to be perceived as better or with big ego because back in the slave times, the lighter you were, the better you were seen by white people and had higher opportunities than their black counterparts in the community. Dark skin tends to be seen as below, which is crazy. Let's not even get into African American versus Africans. I mean, I've talked about that a little bit, but anyway, why the fuck were we talking about this? Oh, we were talking about how racist I am on a scale. I don't know. There's definitely some like the biases, I'm sure. It's like almost impossible to avoid your blind spots. It's something that I talk about pretty candidly. Like at the top of the hour when there's a 3-minute ad break and people are just like kind of blinded by it. Or they're like, what the fuck? What? There's a 3-minute ad break, and it's like a lot of people don't even know that it's coming. But then some people know, but it doesn't even matter because like, they're already subscribed. MB Chaos, or they're lucky enough to get gifted a sub by MB Chaos, who just gifted 10 gifted subs. Or La AC Tuna. Thank you for the 5. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. Very generic name too. Thank you for the 5 gifted. Neil. What is he eating? Uh-oh, grab it.
Of all the unconscious biases that I probably carry.
Yeah,
so,
but if you're a 1, you could say you're...
I try to actively work to be a 1.
1, ideally. 1.
Ideally.
Hopefully not anything more. Actually, probably around that 2.
How racist are you?
Probably 2. My mom was pretty broad-minded and she made us broad-minded. We had plenty of contact with everybody. There was Hispanics and colored people and Oriental people, and I know there...
Are you purposely avoiding the question? No, I just like legitimately don't know where I would land. And I think depending on who you talk to, that number changes dramatically. My man said I'm broad-minded, but then said colored people. But also at the same time, he's old enough, so he might literally be, you know. Look, I'm anti-racist. Okay, I am. If you subscribe to the idea that you're either a racist person or have some level of racist in you, or you're anti-racist, I think I 100% fall on the line of anti-racist. I have dedicated a gigantic chunk of my commentary and what I do professionally to literally advocating and educating people to, you know, re-educate themselves and relearn what they've learned their entire fucking lives. Anti-white racist, you mean? No, like anti-racist. Okay, in the way that you understand it. But I mean, I don't know. I still have blind spots, you know, like moments where someone might consider to be a microaggression that I do not consider to be a microaggression at all because of the level of comfort that I have, where I don't think that I'm like being racist at all. Whether it be the hairline comment that was quickly patched up, let's be real, or whether it be the Nicki Minaj tweet where I was responding to her being like, Tucker Carlson would tell you to get away from the bus if a bus was coming in your direction. And I said, no, Tucker Carlson wouldn't even have you on the bus, let alone tell you to move away from it. And people were like, wow, that's really racist of you to say. You're making a bus joke about Nicki Minaj, when I was literally just replying to her using bus as an example. And people consider that to be like dramatically racist. I still don't think it is. So I guess I'm a fucking 5 if you consider that to be racist. Or I don't know, 6, 7.